Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our first digital live for the Digital Summer Clinic. I'm Vince. I'm a field manager here at the clinic, and my co-host is Morgan, who is also a field manager at the clinic. So our first guest today is Chris Prucha. He will be kicking off our digital marketing workshop, Digital Lives. So he is the co-founder at Origin and Notion. So hi, Chris. How are you?
Good. How are you, Vincent?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm excited to get to know you. So, our first
Excited to
question,
share.
yeah. So, our first question, is just can you just provide just a quick introduction of yourself? Can you just tell us, your history and your experiences in both Origin and Notion?
Sure. So, first of all, I was born in southeastern Michigan. Born and raised, grew up, went to Eastern Michigan University, got a business degree, and after that, moved to the Bay Area of California and worked for Apple as a software engineer for a couple of years. So that's how I got my career started. I was very fortunate for being able to have that opportunity. And from there, I left with a good colleague of mine, and we founded a company that ultimately became Notion, which is a productivity software platform. Many are maybe familiar with it. It's used globally. The company is now actually worth billions of dollars. It's still a private company, so it hasn't IPO'd or exited. So I've been very fortunate for that. I was the technical co-founder of the company, and then I started another company called Origin, which is a 3D printing company, so much more on the industrial side of things. And for that company, I was the CEO, and we merged with Stratasys, which is the largest 3D printing pure play company in the world, three years ago. We developed a unique uh, polymer print process technology, and we had this unique business model, and that's now used uh, not only throughout Stratasys, but is now the default sort of business model that's used in the 3D printing industry on the industrial side. So that's my background. So fortunate to have started two great companies.
Yeah, like thank you. That was just everything just sounded so cool. The 3D printing and then like with Notion, like I'm a huge fan of Notion. I'm very
Same
familiar with
here.
Notion and Morgan as well. So we both know how Notion works. But yeah, thank you for all of that. Morgan, do you want to take the next question?
Yeah, for sure. Since you are basically one of our featured speakers for this year's digital marketing workshop, our theme is basically AI. And knowing very familiar with Notion, they have like features with Ask AI. So my question is, what with AI being integrated into like the business world today, like ChatGPT and whatnot, what are your hopes and limitations on the use of AI?
So I'd say for hopes, I'd break it into two parts. So in the near term, my hopes for AI is first of all that we don't get overly afraid of it and regulate it away. We give it a bit of a chance to bloom and have the public get used to it. Because I know some folks are afraid of the technology, but where it stands today, there's still a lot of work to be done, and so I start with that. But I think that as AI ultimately is developed, and AI is something that I've been involved in for about a decade as a software engineer, and I've watched it progress. And now it's one of my core focuses in terms of some of the stuff I'm building next. I believe that AI will potentially rein in a substantial increase in the standard of living and improve abundance worldwide. Because one of the things that you can't really do with technology today is intelligence. You need people to do that, and so my belief is that AI will be able to reduce the core cost of certain things in many industries, and basically not replace humans. People talk about how it'll take people's jobs. If you use any of the existing AI technologies today, like ChatGPT, it really can just make you, 3 to 10 times better. Like you can learn a language faster, you can learn to program faster. It's really what I'd call like a co-pilot technology. And I believe AI will continue to be this, where you as a person will be able to leverage it just to do 3 to 10 times more work, and maybe in the future it'll be 10 to 100 times more work. And like I said, this is really going to bring a lot of new opportunities to people, and we'll all be able to have a better standard of living. I think, the greatest technology that humanity may ever build, and even right now is likely on par with like the early internet. Like we didn't realize how big of an impact the internet would have on society and life, but here we are. AI is sort of like the early internet, and I think it'll have this profound impact. But everyone should embrace it, because I think there's a lot of great things on the other side.
I love that perspective
Yes,
on
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes, me too. It's just people just think AI is just, so scary, and it's very, very helpful for sure. I forgot to mention to our audience, we do have our comment section open for any Q&A questions that you may have. We'll be sure to get to those after this next question. So my next question for you, Chris, is what do you think attendees should expect from you and your company when they attend this year's digital marketing workshop?
So the theme of my talk is going to be on building a $100 billion brand. So it's, we're primarily going to focus on Origin as a company, rather than Notion, which sold for $100 million, which is a really great outcome.
Oh,
And my hope is that Origin will be very relatable to folks in Michigan, where I grew up, because it was not just a technology company. It was also a manufacturing company. So there's a lot of parallels, and with a lot of the work that happens in Detroit. And actually, I went back to Michigan, Detroit very frequently for Origin. So I do hope that there is a shared experience that I can sort of connect Silicon Valley back with Detroit through the story of that company, and the lessons learned there, maybe also what not to do. And so I'd say that that's going to be the primary theme of what I'm going to talk about.
awesome. All right. So we do have 2 questions in our Q&A, both by Bud Gibson. So the first question is, why did you choose EMU?
Good question. I'd say, number one, to be honest, was out of convenience. I was living in Ann Arbor at the time,
Mhm.
so that was number one. And number two was EMU had a respected business school, and I did want to get a business degree. I got an undergraduate business degree, graduated with the highest honors, and I had a great experience at EMU overall. It's impacted my life. Like I have been fortunate to be successful, both my career at Apple, which was I think for anybody is one of the best outcomes you can ever have. Very privileged to work for that company, but then to go and start other companies and have those be successful. EMU is part of who I am. So, if I didn't go to college or go to EMU, I have no idea if I would have had that outcome. So I'm very fortunate for that.
Yeah, you also have 2 fellow Eagles, me and Morgan.
Yeah.
So we can definitely confirm that Eastern is a place to be.
Sure.
And the second question is, do you have any hot AI startups that you feel like we should know about?
I've invested in some. I don't know if I'll be able to talk about those just yet. Um, but so there's a lot of AI startups that are in the current Y Combinator batch, the rolling batch, the winter 2024. I'm pretty close to the Y Combinator folks. For those that are not familiar with Y Combinator, it's like I'd say the not only most prestigious but largest early stage startup accelerator program in the world. Arguably, they invented the entire category of startup accelerators, at least as we know them today. And a very large portion of their batch, they have 2 batches per year. It's something like 70 to maybe even 90% of the companies in those batches, which are in hundreds of companies, are AI companies. So there is a AI boom. There's a lot of AI companies, and I've been able to invest in a couple of them, and uh, a few of the areas that I'm really interested in general with AI is there's a lot of companies that are either building on top of it. You're probably familiar with OpenAI's technology. All in a bunch of different business verticals, sort of different markets. And then there are what I call like deep tech AI, which are companies that are building more fundamental AI technology. I tend to be more interested in the deep technology side because I find most investors don't understand it. And so I have you know, more time as a sort of a technical founder that's been building technologies more recently than some other investors to get in the weeds with the startup founders and really learn about the technology. I also don't know how AI will progress on the vertical side. So if you apply AI to something like finance or marketing or legal, while it already has profound impact on those markets, AI technology is advancing so rapidly. I believe that a lot of companies that are building a solution, 10 to 12 months later, AI technology can change quite profoundly, and there might be different solutions. So it's really hard to see what's going to happen there. With the deep technology aspect, it might sound counterintuitive, but the AI field has been around for 60, 70 years. Some of the problems like AI alignment and how we store data in AI systems, which we use something called a vector database, which I invested in a vector database company recently. Those are problems that are more of an engineering issue, and it's something where the solution has to be built today. And the companies that people are building around today are likely to be the ones that'll probably be around in 10 years from now, because that technology won't fundamentally change. It's like an engine in a car. It'll evolve, but probably not get completely replaced. So those are the companies that some of the types of companies I've invested in. I'd say the most exciting AI company that I've seen that would be of relevance to folks in Michigan is OpenAI. I think they are very likely to own a substantial portion of the AI market share in terms of the providing the infrastructure and the core models. And they very much are like when I was at EMU. Google and Facebook were relatively new companies. They weren't the giants they are today, and everyone wanted to work at those companies. I think OpenAI is that now for the modern age. I think that a lot of folks may want to, when they concluded their degree at Eastern, working at a company like OpenAI, which is still a startup, but is I think destined to be a rocket ship. Could be a very exciting opportunity for a lot of folks.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your insights, Chris. Before we head out, I want to thank you all for watching our digital live today. I'd like to send a special thank you to Chris for being here, taking time out of your day just to chat with us and share your insights. Thank you so much, Chris.
Yep. Thanks, Vincent. Thanks, Morgan.
Yeah. And to everyone watching, we just want to thank you for watching this episode again. And tune in next week with our next guest, Nick Woods from Google, and along with our new host, Sadi Stressa. You will not want to miss it. So basically, yeah, everyone have a good rest of your week.